Hi everyone, this is Josephine Arjo Carreño Turner, based here in Atlanta, Georgia. And today I am joined by Mr. Hans Brandeis, who is now, of course, he's a German. He's based in Germany. And it's noontime, his time. It's past 6 a.m. my time here in Atlanta. And Hans, want to share something about yourself?
About my activities, so to speak.
Yes, how did we met? How we got to know each other, and then we're gonna talk about how we started the Both Lutes of the Philippines Facebook page.
Well, I'm an ethnomusicologist by profession, and I'm specialized in the traditional music of the Philippines. And I made 15 field trips, research trips to the Philippines since 1976. Since the 1990s, I've been interested in the both lutes of the Philippines, very special kind of instrument with 2 strings. And I've always been posting materials on Philippine both lutes in my Facebook account. So I think that's how we met, because you reacted to those. And actually, I always wanted to make a advocacy page for the boat lutes of the Philippines, but then you just did it, and said, here is the page you just joined, or I will beat you up, something like that.
So we started with the creation. So I went online and see, it was actually in October of 2015 that we started having the Facebook page. And then after several chats with you, I asked your permission, that I can create the Facebook page, but I need you to be with it, because I cannot do it by myself. I am also a learner. I am a student of yours about this. Although I told you that I have a boat lute that that actually came to the USA way ahead of me, because I had it as a gift to my husband. So it was in October 2015 when the boat lutes of the Philippines was really like established. And then we also did the advocacy website. I also created that advocacy website. Primarily, it's to advocate. The goal is to advocate for this specific instrument, and also get to know the musicians behind, and then that those are still actively playing or actively making. So the photos that I'm sharing in the screen right now, Hans, this was in August of 2017. So in 2015, we started this. Although I think we came to really like know each other in 2014, late of 2014, around like December. But we created to evolve the creation of the advocacy Facebook page in 2015. And then in 2017, you came to the USA for a research trip for different museums that you have taken measurements of both lute collections from the Philippines. So guys, this is Hans Brandeis, and the shirt that he had on, he calls Blonde Internationals, of which I also added Hans, even though he is not a blonde, but he has a big heart for the blonde indigenous peoples, to be a co-admin and help us also come up with our logo, the Blonde Internationals. So this is a mentor and a mentee meeting for the first time in 2017. And I hope that, I could visit Hans in Germany. So Hans, by the way, is the very person that calls me Miss Act. And then I don't know, it's always like, you are Miss Act, you are Miss Act. So what made you think about that, Hans?
Well, it's very easy. I saw your initials, and it was DT, and I said, hey, this sounds like ACT. And because Arjo is a very active person, so I thought this is this fits very well.
And then, I told you that yes, that is my initial. Arjo Carreño Turner is really more my public name, but even though my first name is Josephine, but I go by Arjo. but you are the first person that really calls me, hey, Miss Act. So when we are chatting, that's how you calls me. And I kind of like when I started doing the Act International Consulting LLC. That also remind me, Hans. I wanted to adopt that Act, the acronym of Act, which is I'm really taking action when I am engaged with something that I am passionate about, and I take courage for it. And T stands for me for teamwork. From the other side, what ACT stands for me is action, courage, and teamwork. So exactly for what we did here with the Both Lutes of the Philippines Facebook page, that I started it, I added you as an admin, but right now this Facebook page has 6,000
Subscribe.
followers,
Yes.
subscribers, and these are host of musicians, academicians from different parts of the world who knows Hans way before the Both Loots of the Philippines Facebook page was set up. But I think it gave an opportunity for more people to really get to know you more, Hans, because you are, for people who does not know, the very person who makes logical comments in Both Loots of the Philippines Facebook page and trying to share more with depth and details, that person responding behind that Facebook page is Hans Brandeis. My contribution in this Facebook page is mostly sharing photos, and then I'm telling Hans, our working relationship is that I'm telling Hans, if I'm sharing something, please feel free to edit, add details, add information, because that is your expertise. That I don't know, right, Hans? So even though Hans is in Germany, I am here based in the USA. We have this great collaboration online that we are able to engage followers of the Facebook page to learn something. And I could not really thank you enough, Hans, for sharing your knowledge. And then now, because of this advocacy, when was this publication again? This is what you did for all of the boat loots that you were able to document, right, Hans?
Yes.
This photo.
I'm writing a book on the boat lutes of the Philippines. I've been doing this for a couple of years
Mm-hmm.
for various reasons, because I always included materials that I had collected during my research trips. And
Mm.
there are more than 250 boat lutes described in detail with
Mm.
photographs of general views and details. So I was thinking it was a good idea to compile them together in a poster, and
Yes.
I selected those pictures that fit for that purpose, because not all the instruments that I described have pictures that would fit that format.
Yes.
The instruments are shown here on these
On the
posters.
post. So
And
Hans, this alone, coming up with this poster alone, with respect to project management, that I'm doing online mentoring on project. This is a big project in itself because it took time for you to do it one by one and put them all together, and the details and the editing and the technical things about it. So these are some, if
yeah,
people will be going to our Facebook page. And so this was a publication that was published, of course, by the National Commission for the Culture and the Arts, which Hans Brandeis got featured in this Agong magazine issue of November to December 2017. This is the first publication in the Philippines where you got featured, right, Hans? Were partly in this newsletter with the NCCA.
well, it was not the first publication which I published in the Philippines, but it's one
With
of the most.
NCCA, with NCCA, I mean.
Yes, the
Yeah.
NCCA is of course a very important institution, because it is a kind of substitute for for a Department of Culture in the Philippines, which does not exist. So they're taking over that task.
Yeah,
The
not yet, but I think there are some propositions that they're gonna do something like that.
so
So
they
this is
will.
one of the very famous photos that Hans also have shared in the Facebook page. That if you will see in the both Lutz Facebook page, Obo Manobo, and then he will. The greatest thing is that he's able to document when was this happening, and if he is able to remember, people's names. So that kind
Well,
of details.
I always take notes. I mean, I cannot.
Yes.
If you ask me for the names of the musicians on the picture, I don't know it, but I always have notes where I can look them up.
Notes, yeah. Yeah, some details as much as you could. And this is one of the people that Hans met in South Cotabato primarily, and he is deceased now. And
This is
yeah,
Phil,
yeah,
the very famous Phil, the player of the Hogulung lute,
mhm.
became a very dear friend of mine, although we cannot speak a single word to each other. But he told after we met, he told one of my friends, the only thing I would still want to do in life is meet Hans again. So and
Oh,
we did. So this and we couldn't talk. We just hugged each other, looked at each other, and that's it. No.
yeah. So this is all about like the profile of, if people will be going to the Boat Loots of the Philippines Facebook page. This was way back in 2015, as they said. And if people will be visiting the Facebook page, they will also see this as a pinned posting. By the way, this is free, that Hans free publication that Hans is able to share to everyone and anyone interested to know about the boatloads of the Philippines, which is part of his ongoing project. So why Hans is always calling me your act, because I'm telling you, I'm always going to be there to piss you off, to kick you, and then keep you moving to do this project. Because from the perspective of project management, I'm very interested with your project, Hans, and I hope that the books that you really plan to get out in there will also be made available and published, and for whatever partner institutions that could find to do that. And this is the Boatloads of the Philippines website. It's a sub-hosted website that very basic, but the more information that people will be getting will be via the Facebook page. So for people, especially that are posting online, Hans is very diligent with able to find and see all of these postings. So in this Facebook page is the scope with respect to project, but the scope of this is very specific to featuring boat lutes of the Philippines specifically. And so for over years, how many years now, since 2015, October 2015 to 26 to 2021. So that's like 6 years, Hans.
Yeah.
So for 6 years, we have 6,000, over 6,000 people following this Facebook page. So there are videos that Hans have also like uploaded in here, and he is really like taking action now to share as much as he could for interviews. Hans, you're open to interviews and collaborations, right?
Of course, yes.
Yes.
I'm
So they
also
can they can reach you out via the Boatloads of the Philippines Facebook page. That's the best way, because Hans is able to respond immediately via the Facebook page.
yes, and
Mm.
I'm trying to imitate you, to copy your name act as part of my behavior. You know.
Well, it's good. So, I'm putting it into action. Before, you are just calling me, hey, Miss Act. So now I am really putting that as the name of my, the name of my, company. So this is one when you were visiting here in the USA, and one of the very amazing culture that Hans was able to document. Like this one is blood. I hope you would have a time to go to our birthplace, Landan, and then meet the Fulung Duming. So we were able not only to advocate Hans, but also get people connected to existing cultural masters that are still alive and are able to make these boat lutes, right? And I think that is the greatest thing that we are able to do right now because of this interaction that we are able to do project collaboratively online. So it can be slowly, it can be incremental. So please don't give up for your dream project that is over decades in the making. I don't wanted to mention how many decades that is because people might know my age. But I just wanted to give a hint.
Forever young.
But I just wanted to give a hint. But anyways, that's why if you see the name ACT International Consulting LLC to people and friends, I wanted to let you know that Hans Brandeis has a big impact on that, why I also chose that. Not only because it stands for Arjo Carino Turner, but it also stands for action, courage, and the teamwork. So Hans, thank you so much for this session and this time with you. I really appreciate you having this time with me and sharing a glimpse of what's behind the act and the action that we also took and the courage that we took to get out in there through the Both Loads of the Philippines Facebook page, which was our project then, but now it's still continuing. It's still there. And I hope that it's, blessing a lot of Filipinos. So our last message or last thoughts, Hans?
Well,
a minute.
You're most welcome, and I can only express my utmost gratitude to all the informants who shared their knowledge with me during the more than 4 years that I spent in the Philippines, and hospitality and friendliness and all the good things that you would expect from Filipinos.
Well, thank you so much, Hans, for this wonderful time of just chatting with you and just letting, sharing about our collaboration. Bong salamat, maraming salamat. Thank you. Donkey?
Welcome. Thank you.